meant to win. I am down and willing, so I will find a way. It took a minute, now it didn't happen right away. When it get hot in the kitchen, you decide to stay. That's how it winners made. Stick a fork in the hater on my dinner plate. I walk into the fire like it's just a bit of flame. I switch my style up, watch the money pile up. I'ma get rich or die trying. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Presents the Semifinalist series, as we've been doing for the last couple of years. Doing it again this year. We are presented by Thick Boy, the best apparel in the business. Super soft shirts. That's what I'm wearing right now. They are amazing. Make sure to go check them out. Man, I've got one of the coolest ladies in all of CrossFit. This is our second Canadian today. We're calling this Canada Day at Clydesdale Media.
Canada Day.
We had Emily Rolfe on a couple hours ago. We have Gabby Spenst. That's who's with us now. We have Hattie Canio later tonight. So Canada Day.
There we go. I like your intro. That was awesome.
Yeah. It's hard to not dance and then like to stop it before we hit the live.
Yeah. Something to hype you up a little bit. I like it.
Yeah. So Gabby Spenst, this is third year in a row you've been on this series.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting fun fact. You are hanging in my dining room.
I'm hanging in your dining room?
You are.
Really?
My wife is very, very meticulous about none of my stuff ever makes it upstairs.
Yeah.
None of my stuff. But we put together a collage of me interviewing people.
Yeah.
And one of those interviews was with you.
Oh,
so
no
there's
way.
a picture of me interviewing you in a collage that's hanging. The only thing I have in our living space, you're there.
Oh, that's awesome. You have to send me a picture of that. I'm honored to be there.
Yeah, so cool. And it was at the MAC 2 years ago when we first met.
Right, yeah. Yeah, backstage there.
Yeah, when I had terrible lighting and you couldn't.
It was a little dark and gloomy back there, but
yeah. Well, we're going back there. We're going back there in the East. You don't have to, but
no, yeah, I get California this year again.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
So we've been doing this for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of like burst on the scene that first year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think you finished top 20 in that first semifinal.
Yeah. Oh boy, what was that? I think I was 17th or 18th, something like that. I think.
I have 19th.
19th? Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. So top 20. You didn't come in at that highly ranked, and then kind of did really well that weekend. And so we talked to you quite a bit. I talked to your family that weekend quite a bit. It was fun getting to know you. And then the next year, you improve in the quarterfinal area.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to semis, it was a little bit slipped back. Was it programming? Was it nerves? Was it?
I was trying to figure it out too, because like we had a bigger field, like because when I was at the MAC, it was 30 girls per semifinal, and then so last year it was 60 at that semifinal. So I was trying to kind of figure out, since there was double the field, how that kind of worked out too.
Yeah, the anticipation going in last year was with a 60-person field, if you had a bad event, it could really hurt you.
Yeah.
If your hole was too big, you couldn't come back from it like you could in the past.
Yeah.
Now, Sydney Wells made that a joke.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was incredible.
By getting a 0 and still qualifying for the games. But for the most part, that did not happen at semis last year.
Nope.
So then you go into this off season. In years past, you trained in the States, but you're truly from Alberta, Canada.
Yeah.
So why the change this year to stay in Alberta?
That's a good question. I think there was a few things that kind of came up. Last year it was really hard to be away from my family. I just had some kind of personal like family stuff come up. I even had some health stuff going on in the beginning of the year just due to kind of stress being away from my family, especially in such a hard time. And then I just really also wasn't in a great space, like mentally, even going into the semifinals. Like I kind of just felt like everything was kind of crumbling around me, and I felt like I was just trying to hold it together. So during the off season or whatever, I kind of just tried to take time to figure myself out, tried to do, go to counseling and all that kind of stuff. And I just really felt like I needed to, like, it was time to stay home. I just had peace about staying back here with my family, going back to my gym training there. It just felt like the right thing to do, especially mentally. It's like, you say it all the time. It's like you can be as good physically as you want, but if you're not, there mentally, then it's a little challenging.
So when you were here in the States, you would train at I Love It.
Yeah.
Which is like a hotbed of CrossFit athletes.
Yeah.
Especially at the semifinal level. They've taken teams to the games.
Mm-hmm.
They've people right on the cusp of making the games, but not
Mm-hmm.
quite. So now that you're back at your home gym, who's doing the programming for you? What's it like working out there without that hub?
Mm-hmm. I'm still following mostly like Mayhem programming, but I'll always do the class workouts at the gym there. And Jason McDonald has been a big factor, and like I'll pick his brain about if I have pull-ups in the class workout and then there's pull-ups in the Mayhem programming, like I'll talk to him and be like, like what should I sub here for this. He has so much knowledge, and also taking knowledge I learned down like in the States, just talking to like Mitch and Kaylee. They're so awesome and so smart. So I feel like I've kind of picked up on being able to listen to my body, realizing that, Mayhem is very general programming. It's not specific. So kind of taking that and learning how to, make things a little personal. That, I think that answers your question a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying from all the experience, you're actually learning how to kind of program for yourself with some input.
Yeah. Exactly.
How good are you at self-evaluating what you need to work on to make sure you hit those spots in your training as well?
I think that I've come to be good at that. It's definitely been a learning curve, and I still will, like I said, I'll pick other people's brains at my gym, all the coaches there, especially, Jason, Sue is another person. Like, yeah, I think that I kind of know where my weaknesses are, and so trying to put an emphasis on that for sure.
So I have a hard time. Usually, like when I watch an athlete, I know what their strengths are, what their holes are. With you, it's difficult because you do have some gymnastics ability. You're strong. You showed that in the bench last year during Linda. So what do you think your holes are?
I think gymnastics for sure. I think, and like gymnastics, and then also I think that one of my weaknesses is has been mentally. I get really in my head, and like I kind of pull like issues in or convince myself that I don't really belong places, and then that takes such a big impact on my performance. But it was interesting talking to Kaylee after last year, because there was 6 events. 3 of the events that didn't have any gymnastics in it, I placed in the top 30, and the other 3 that had gymnastics components, I placed in the bottom 30. So I thought that was also kind of interesting. Just I think that it's, something that's not natural to me. Like gymnastics is a very not natural thing to me. So really having to try to focus on building that up has been a big challenge.
You're a bit taller than most CrossFit athletes.
I would say so.
And so does that range of motion hurt you in the gymnastics part, or is it something you can overcome?
That's a good question. I think that, it's very likely that doesn't play to my favor, having longer limbs on certain things. And I think that I've accepted that I might not ever be like the best at handstand push-ups and all that kind of stuff, but I definitely know that there's still a lot of room to grow in that area to make that gap smaller.
So you work on all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You need to test yourself. I know you've done some off-season comps.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make those decisions, like where you're going to go to test, and things like that?
Well, I always like doing our local competition here in Calgary because there's some good competition here in Alberta, and that's just kind of one that's close to home. It's fun and it's a good test of fitness to go there. And then I've kind of had my mind. I competed at Wadapalooza this year, and I tried to qualify for that competition like I think 3 years ago, and I didn't make it. So then I was really in my head and kind of weird about even trying to do the qualifier again because I was just nervous that I wasn't going to make it again. So this year I was like, okay, like I need to kind of overcome that and just go for it. I think it's just kind of whatever comes up into my head and whatever seems kind of smart, and I'll talk to Jason about it, and yeah.
So here's a picture of Battle at the Barracks.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And you just happened to win it.
Just happened.
So there you are on the podium. I believe 4 of you on the podium.
Yeah.
Are going on to semifinals.
Yeah. Yeah. Amy, Janie, and Lindsay there.
And so when you say there's some good competition in Alberta, that's a great test for you. Here's 4 semifinal athletes that you got to go head to head with.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought home the world championship belt.
Yeah. I'm sitting right up there.
So how cool of a prize is that?
It's pretty cool. It's just like when else are you going to get a big old belt like that? And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with this thing, but it's super cool. Yeah.
So is it metal and leather?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like pretty legit.
So it's heavy.
Yeah.
So I have thrown out that a way for CrossFit to grow is to have certain things that you name a champion for. Like, I don't know if you know about the Colton Mertens, Jake Berman burpee off.
No.
So Colton Mertens went head to head with Jake Berman to see who could do 100 burpees for time faster.
Okay.
I think Colton won. He should get a belt, right? I'm the world champion burpee person.
Right.
And he gets to hold that till someone challenges him to take him on and wins the belt, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you could do that for Grace, and you could do it for Fran. You could do it for different things, right?
Yeah.
And then you have like these 15 belts that travel depending on who owns them at the time.
Yeah, yeah. I like that.
Because what's cooler than being able to stand there like the wrestling champion or the UFC champion, and you're the champion of the world in that event.
I like that. Yeah.
So when I saw that on your Instagram, I was like, man, I have to pull that up because that's super cool.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, it's special for sure.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Yeah, the traveling belts. See who.
Yeah.
See
So
who
back to you. You compete here. In these competitions, do you learn anything about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So what did you learn at the Battle of the Barracks?
Oh my word. Yeah. So actually I think that was a big turning curve for me. At least as a competitor, like mentally. I was like a few weeks out, I was stressed like out of my mind to the point where I was like, what, like just so stressed. It's obviously like it's vulnerable whenever you go and do a competition. And I know that there's, other very high level athletes. So I was like, it's kind of scary. And then about like a week out from competing, I just was I was talking to God and I was like, what am I, doing this for? And I just felt so much like he was like, Gabby, like you put in all the work, you've done all the training, you've done all of that. Now it's time for you to trust God and focus on the people there at the gym and like enjoying your time, being encouraging to the other people, like watch the other heats and just, like hang out, like just be kind and like share the experience and enjoy it all. And it made it the entire weekend so much better. And when I walked into the back after like they did like all the prizes and everything, I was collecting all my stuff and I was like, wow, that made winning so much more fun. Cause I was like, what fun would it be right now if I, got my super cool belt, but I was miserable all weekend and didn't enjoy it. And I was just, head down. It's like, I just think that, you have to enjoy it and you have to, like, when people say go out there and have fun, it's not just because you have fun doesn't mean you're not trying. It's like,
So I'm going to come back to that. Corey Leonard's in the chat. Missed it. How old is Gabby?
I'm 26. I just turned 26.
Yeah, I knew you were mid-20s. I didn't know the exact number.
Yeah.
But you didn't start CrossFit till later, right?
I started it when I was, how old would I have been? I think it was 19 or 20. And I didn't really like start taking it seriously until like three years ago or so.
Yeah,
so I guess it's been like six years.
But again, not seriously until like just 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to dive into this and hopefully it takes us a cool place. But when you train with a group like I Love It, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a different way of how they handle a competition.
Mm-hmm.
And you say that like, and I know like there's some athletes, like we just had Emily Rolfe on. She is very much in a zone when she's at a competition,
Mm-hmm.
right? Blinders on, focused on the task at hand, and not necessarily wanting to like socialize in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have someone like Ariel Lowen, who like has to socialize with everybody.
Yeah.
Right. But yet they're both very successful at what they do.
Yeah.
But they take very different approaches.
Yeah.
Did you try one way thinking it was the way you had to be and discover this year that you can do it the other way and it's actually more natural for you?
I would say so. Yeah.
And so you need to enjoy the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How much of a relief is that off of your shoulders discovering that?
Like a big relief.
So did Battle at the Barracks come before or after Wodapalooza?
Before.
Okay. So then you go to Wodapalooza.
Mm-hmm.
You have this newfound idea of how you need to be in a competition weekend. Were you able to play it out at Wodapalooza?
Yes and no. I felt like I was like mentally I was in a pretty good space starting off, and then the event 2 with like the strict pull-ups, I didn't have the greatest experience throughout that workout as far as like with my judge, unfortunately, and it really kind of got into my head, and I sort of spiraled. And like the next day after, um, especially after if something doesn't really go ideally or like not my way, I pull issues sort of in and kind of create this chaos and get really emotional. So it's almost like I kind of went back to how I was at the semifinals. So like I went into it really trying to bring that same energy and the same focus I had at Battle of the Barracks, and it was a little bit of a different challenge because nobody knows who I am at Wodapalooza, right? But like, you know, at the Barracks, it was a little bit easier because I was a little bit more comfortable. People knew who I was, but then you're at Wodapalooza, nobody knows who you are. Your face isn't up in, you know, Vendor Village. It's your competitors, right? And it's like it's hard to not feel. And when I say insignificant, I don't mean like anything against like the fact that they're up there, but it does get in your head a little bit if you let it. And I think I definitely let it.
You know, it may surprise you to know that I get those feelings too. Right?
Yeah.
In this media space, there's a lot of times where you can feel insignificant. Right? I don't have the most followers. I don't have the most likes. I don't have the most views. And you have to like fall back on, I do this because I love hearing the stories. I love talking to the athletes. Like, and regardless of if 2 people watch or 2,000 people watch, like it's what I love doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you go in and when you have that attitude, the other stuff just happens.
Yeah, it's true. Hey.
So during Wodapalooza, did you get it righted that weekend, or did you come out of there going, we've got to figure out a way for me to have some kind of tool to not go down this road again?
Yeah. Yeah. I came out with it. Like I felt like I was finally able to kind of identify that that's what it was. And like I talked to my mom, and then I'm like, I need to, you know, catch this before I let it spiral. So really trying to yeah, just be more aware of my emotions and not try to like stuff them down, but you know, talking about what's going on and kind of, you know, use the help that's around you. I'm not alone, and I know that, so I need to make sure like that's on me to use the people around me.
So you do the Open and the quarterfinals in your home gym, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right. In years past, you did that, and I love it.
Mhm.
What is the difference in the support group having family close that you can lean on in those moments?
Oh, it was great, and like even when I was down at I Love It, like they're like family to me too. Obviously, you know, it's a little different. It's they're like the gym family. um I think just having my family here, they add so much balance to my life. Like, because like my mom just started doing CrossFit, but besides my mom, nobody else in my family does it. So it's been really beneficial to me to be able to have, you know, that part of my life that isn't in the gym, and then doing the Open like back home here with the same people I started CrossFit with. Like I did it at the 9:15 class, which is the class I take every single day, and doing it with them was, you know, it was amazing. It was a lot of fun.
So then you move to quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And same support?
Yeah.
Did you have to do it during a class, or did they?
No, I did it.
Sure.
Yeah, just because setting up the camera and didn't want to risk, anybody coming in front of the camera, and then kind of being able to work on my schedule and Jason's schedule just worked out a little bit better to not do it during the class.
Did people come in and watch?
Some people, yeah. Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Pardon?
What was that like for you?
Oh, it's awesome. It's like the community is always the best part of it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like blessed to have just such good people around me. And then it makes you feel like when you're doing the workout, it's not just you, it's like, people are there cheering you on. And like I'm just lucky that those, are the people I've known for years. So to have their support and everything just means so much to me.
So I had Rebecca Fuselier on last week.
Okay.
And she talks about how doing it in front of her community is almost charges her up more than doing it on the live stage.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen you hurt. They've seen you work. They've seen you through all of the hard training moments.
Yeah.
So to celebrate with them during like quarterfinals in the Open is that much sweeter.
Totally. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. It's like nothing gets you more fired up than having that community behind you and those people, that believe in you. It makes, I was like, some people ask you how you stay motivated. I'm like, I could never do if it was just, just me going into a gym and doing it, leaving, like having no interactions with those people. So I would get burnt out so fast. And a big part of why I stay motivated is just there's just people around you that believe in you all the time, and they want to see you do good. You want to see them do good. It's something special.
So I want to touch on Wodapalooza one more time.
Mm-hmm.
The weather conditions there are always so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Was that a part of like what got in your head? Because they had to move like gymnastic movements from regular to strict for safety reasons. And it was last minute. They changed the workout 3 times before you hit the floor. They took unknown and unknowable to a whole new level.
Yeah. I loved it. I think it was a little stressful, but like I'm a BC kid, and I loved playing in the rain growing up. So it was like, it was like a little bit hectic. And you didn't really know. I didn't know what like any of the workouts actually were until very shortly before the event. And then I liked being out there in the rain. During that like strict pull up one, that's the one where I had kind of that unfortunate situation. But I was just like crying, but it was like also raining, and then the wall ball hit me a few times in the face, and I just kind of like, even though I was like very emotional, it was also fun and funny at the same time. I think I was able to enjoy it.
I think that's what I love most about you is that you don't take yourself super seriously at times. Yeah. Like I go to your games page and the picture you use as your profile is the goofiest thing, but it just says a lot about you.
Yeah. Yeah, those faces.
So I can see where like you being ultra serious is not good for you.
Right.
In competition.
Yeah, it's not. No, I don't think it's naturally who I am. It's almost like something I feel like I almost have to do.
In fact, I think I made a comment about one of your faces during the year when we DM back and forth occasionally.
Oh, probably, yeah.
That you're always like doing the goofy face and
yeah.
Those things make me smile.
That's so good. Yeah, so many people, like anytime I post anything of my face, I always just get lots of responses, and I'm just very expressive. I used to think that I was so good at hiding the way I felt about things until I started like videoing myself like doing workouts and stuff. I'm like, my face goes crazy. Like I can see exactly how I feel. And yeah.
So picture a content creator trying to find a good picture for a thumbnail. And where can I clip? Where can I steal from? Where can I? You don't give me much to choose from.
I'll try to sneak a couple in there a year. You can choose from.
Man, I need to get to semis, and I got this really cool new camera.
Yeah.
I could snap a couple pictures.
I'll try to smile for a few.
Yeah. I mean, even like I went back and looked at the interview I did with you coming off the floor last year.
Yeah.
You're being goofy in that moment. Like the whole first part of that video is like us just chopping it up before we get to a serious question.
Probably. Just wait until you see I tried smelling salts with one of my friends the other day for the first time. Haven't posted the video yet, but you just wait until you see my face in that one, and you might have a good picture for next time.
Chandra says Gabby pulls the best faces.
That's my sister. Thanks, Chandra.
And so now I want to talk about you going into semifinals. Mm-hmm. You send in your quarterfinal scores.
Mm-hmm.
All hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
The Wednesday after that.
Yeah.
What was going through your head for the week leading up to the scoreboard being final?
Gosh, I was just thankful that once I got video 1 and 2, luckily I got those validated pretty fast. I don't remember what day I got them validated, but I was like, thank goodness, like those are validated. And then in my head, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if 3 and 4 didn't get even looked at, because I was just like, they're gonna have to go through everyone's videos. But I was nervous. Like I was refreshing like every hour, seeing if 3 and 4 got validated. Like, and then this Monday comes, and then they make it official, and I've just been exhausted for like Monday until today. I'm feeling like kind of normal, but like I was just stressed out, and I was trying to keep myself calm and everything. But yeah, it was crazy. So crazy.
So 2 questions. One,
mm-hmm.
How good does it feel that your movement standard was up to par?
It feels really good. I was thankful that I had Jay there judging, because I looked at the video, and my first box step up, he gave me a no rep because I wasn't fully extended. And then every one after that, I stood all the way up. So, yeah, I was happy that he, called it. And I was happy that, I stood the rest of them up.
My second question is, you come into semis in 7th position.
Yeah.
That is a massive improvement over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? That your fitness is getting that much better, or you're figuring stuff out?
I think I'm just figuring, like, I do believe that my fitness is getting better for like 100%. But then I also just feel like, yeah, I'm just figuring it out. And like, I think I've gone into a good place of balancing, life and CrossFit. And I just think I'm learning about myself.
So here's the tough question. Yeah. Every time you're on, we talk about your faith.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the balance,
mm-hmm.
right? You're starting to have some success.
Mm-hmm.
But I know as a Christian man, it's important to keep God first.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to keep yourself grounded in these moments and keep your faith where it's supposed to be priority wise?
Yeah. I've kind of discovered something recently, and it's mostly when like I pray at the end of the day. I used to always think that I had to say these perfect words, and I had to say them out loud to pray or like reflect and everything. But recently I've just gotten into just sitting and being quiet and like just thinking about my day, and almost feels like I'm letting myself see how good God is in everything. And like, I always pray every day for like my interactions with people. And then I just sit and I think about my day, and I think like so many things, so many moments come popping into my head, and I'm just sitting there like, wow, thanks God. And I just think, and then I say, wow, like, thank you. And then I go into, my praying about, specific like things to pray on. And I read my Bible. I think it's just like, I think I'm allowing myself time to just really see and believe that God is using me for something in this. I'm not just, doing this for the heck of it. It's like I'm trying to set myself up for God to be able to use me however he wants to. And it's like, if that's me at the games, then that's me at the games. If that's me in, 11th place at the semifinals, or 60th place or 40th place at the semifinals, it's like I've come to accept the fact that like I'm going to be wherever he wants me to be. And there's so much peace in that.
So earlier we talked about feeling insignificant at times, right? When you see your face not on the stuff. And do you ever get mad at yourself that you've let that happen?
Yeah.
When that's not the most important thing?
Yeah, totally. But then I also have to have grace with myself too. It's like we're still humans, and that's such like I think that's a natural way to feel. But then it's like you almost have to catch yourself and be like, bring yourself back to like like this is you, like this is your journey. Of course you're not going to be Danny Spiegel on the boards, because you're not Danny Spiegel. It's like you're Gabby, and you're doing like, you just have to stay in your own lane. So I think I definitely get a little frustrated with myself sometimes, but then like I said, you have to offer grace to yourself and be like, okay, it's like, yeah, sure, you felt that way, but let's, come on.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Yeah. I need to remember that at times too.
Yeah, it's tough.
So I want to finish up with kind of a fun question, and it can be faith part or whatever, but you're going into one of the most iconic venues in CrossFit history.
Yeah.
With your current position, you're going to line up in a heat with Alex Kazan, Ariel Lowen, Emily Rolfe, like the best of the best.
Yeah.
How do you celebrate that without celebrating too much?
I went back and I watched some like the old documentaries of like, when they were in that stadium. I think I'm just allowing myself time to kind of reflect almost, like because I remember watching, those documentaries and be like, those people are crazy. I'm never going to do that. And like, here I am watching those documentaries and being like, I'm going to be in that stadium. Or one of the ladies, Nancy McCaig from our gym, she used to compete in in the Masters, and she competed in that stadium. And I was like talking to one of the like Kirsten from my gym, and I was like, how many like assault bike workouts have I done? And like Nancy's face is up on the wall with like her jersey, and like it's like she's such an inspiration for me. Like, so that's like a personal one. It's like I think that, yeah, just allowing myself to like reflect and be happy and be like, I earned that spot. It's like I do deserve to be there. It's like I do deserve to be in 7th place. I didn't just get there by a fluke. It's like,
yeah, I could not be happier for you that you have had this season. It's been fun watching you from 2022 on. You're also getting a uniform at semis this year.
yeah.
Like that's never happened before.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty sweet.
So you're gonna have a jersey.
Yeah.
How much is that gonna mean?
Pardon?
How much is that gonna mean?
Oh, a lot. Like, that's gonna be special.
You gonna wear it during the competition? Because you're not required to.
No, I was trying to think of that too. I was like, do I wear it? Do I just save it and like you know, hide it away somewhere or like display it somewhere. Like I'm still trying to figure all that out. I was like, maybe I'll wear it for one of the events. Hi, Hattie. Yeah, I was like, I don't know yet.
Yeah. I think that's a really cool element. I know some people have dogged on a little bit, but I think it's cool that there's a lot of athletes that just missed the games, or it's cool to have a memento
100%.
from making it to semis.
Yeah. Yeah, like we got a cool, like a 2-pood belt last year, and I haven't used that a single time. I have it just sitting in my room. It's like you have to take time to appreciate those things, and it helps when you have something like your name and number on a jersey. Like I think it's super cool, and I think it's a really cool gesture that they're doing. I think it makes it special, and it almost like legitimizes it, you know, some more, being like, hey, like, you know, you're top 40 in your region, like that takes a lot of time, you know, like, you know, here you go, here's your name and your number. I think it's super cool.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to watch you. If I can get there in person, it'll be the best. If not, watch you on the stream. But we'll stay in touch, and we're going to do shows from during that whole weekend. So maybe I'll reach out. We'll have you on the weekend if I can't be there in person to talk to you in person.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that a lot.
Well, good luck in Carson.
Thank you.
And Hattie's yelling at me in the chat. Saying, you better be there.
You better be. Hattie and I will come and drag you wherever you are. We'll get you there.
Well, truth be told is I have not been approved for media credentials yet.
What?
Which is really late for this.
Yeah.
So still waiting on that.
We'll sign a petition. We'll start a petition. We'll get you in somehow, I'm sure.
All right. Well, Gabby, as always, it's such a treat. Thank you to everybody in the chat for being here. Love you all. And we'll see everybody next time on the Clydesdale Media Semifinalist Series. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.